launched the repository. There is a hotel in the name of Taj, the Hotel Taj in Delhi. So in that particular hotel, this organized, and this repository was launched for the nation. So this is the story behind those projects and those things which develop in the country, how people are trying to make things actualized. For that, there is a purpose which is given, and then people they invest their days and nights, and then the things get developed. So these type of, I'm fortunate enough that I was in those institutions where these type of things were happening. So it's again my fortune that the projects like NRO Yard, E-Pathshala, E-PG Pathshala, Swayam, you must be aware of these platforms. I was the part of the development team of these projects. So that's why a bit of first-hand experience I have got. So I wish to share all those things. And then there is some part of the lecture which is related to AI also. AI is right now very much in tune. So I have got 2 presentations. Let me share my presentations, but I will be skipping because the presentations are huge, and I have got 2 hours right now with me. So maybe we can just pick and choose those things which are of much use of all the teachers. So that's why even I think the time, yes, I have got 1.5 hours, it seems, because madam informed that I will have to finish at 4 o'clock. No problem. I will be sharing those things which are of much use to all the teachers, and then you can go ahead and see things in elaborated way. Whenever you find time, you just Google it, or you just come to the slides and click on the links, and you will be navigated to those places where you wish to go. So the first presentation is this one: ICT initiative apps and tools for teaching and learning in the context of NEP. And the second presentation is this one, which is named as Artificial Intelligence in Teaching, Learning, Content Creation and Research. So this one is fully devoted to artificial intelligence. So let us just go a little, I think there was a presentation beforehand also. Please kindly tell me what are the topics which are already covered, so that I can skip the topics which are covered in terms of ICT or AI.
Ma'am, mostly the concept of AI, the users, applications, future challenges, mostly these things.
These things are covered.
Yeah, ma'am, and to interrupt once, that is, if you could share the PPT after your presentation, very helpful.
That I will do, but I just wanted to know that whether all the topics, like the types of AI, what exactly AI is, what exactly AI does, what are the different tools which can be used, all these things are covered, then I can skip to that ICT wala. I can
the fundamentals have been covered, like the applications, concepts have been covered.
Let me just go through this particular section, which is so that I can skip the slides and come to the things which are not covered. So in the first slide, I just wanted to give an introduction of AI. I think it's covered what exactly AI is. Then the types of AI, we all know that there are 3 types. I think that is also covered: the artificial narrow intelligence and artificial general intelligence and the super intelligence. When we talk about the artificial narrow intelligence, it is right now there are so many machines like Alexa, Siri, and all those machines which work on natural language processing. They understand our language, and then they give you the results. Like whatever you want, they will give you they will perform according to whatever the requirement is. So that is called as artificial narrow intelligence. Then there is this artificial general intelligence. When we talk about the artificial general intelligence, it is like when you go to those places like the ATMs, and there are these self-driven cars, the Google car. You must have heard about the metro rail in Delhi, which is like no human being is there as a driver. So that those type of things, they all come under the category of artificial general intelligence. Then there are so many other things like these the devices which have got some sort of sensors associated with it, and also those platforms. You must have seen the platforms, the Netflix and even YouTube. The platforms, they have got a function where if you start seeing one genre, then whenever you open those platforms, you will get a lot of recommendations of the same genre. So what exactly they do? They work on this artificial intelligence where they check the emotional state. Like in case of artificial intelligence, there is emotion and sentiment analysis also, which is now being associated with the systems, the AI models. So they go with sentiment analysis, they go with the emotional analysis. They see that what exactly is the way in which this person is behaving on these OTT platforms. So if you see one type of program once, and again suppose you are searching that type of program, then third time when you are going to open that model, it is going to give you recommendations. So that is artificial general intelligence. Then we have got the third one, which is artificial super intelligence. So that is something which is of concern. Artificial super intelligence has got the those humanoids, the robots. You must have heard about Iris, Indian Iris, and then the Sophia, the humanoids, the robots. Actually, these are those humanoids which are trying to be replicas of human beings. This artificial intelligence is what? It is the replication, it is the mimicry of machines, which the machines basically try to mimic and be like human intelligence. That is called as artificial intelligence, and it works on the data. Whatever data we put, whatever data we give to the machine, we feed to the machine knowingly or unknowingly, that data is the soul and the life of the entire system of artificial intelligence. It does what exactly happens. Human beings, if we learn in the subjects of educational psychology, there is a section called forgetting. Human beings forget. It's a human tendency that whatever we learn, after 40 minutes, maybe there will be very less things which are going to be remaining. But in case of machines, they have got this this ability to not forget anything. So because of this particular ability, they remain very much updated, and when we try to search anything, we try to keep remember something, we take time, and because of forgetting, we do make mistakes. But because the machines never forget, and the response time is very low, that's why they are very frequently doing the work and they don't forget. So they give us the output in no time, and that's why it looks like magic which they are doing. Although they are not doing any magic, they are just making algorithms, they are just searching from the data and giving you a particular result. So this one is like the way in which the machines work. And in case of functionality, there are certain classifications. I think I can skip all those. The subfields of AI are machine learning and NLP. Why? Because I think that is also covered.
Ma'am, means a little bit in the earlier sessions, little concepts on machine learning and those things have been covered. Hello?
Hello?
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes. Please tell me.
Yeah, the fundamental concepts of machine learning and this NLP, these are covered.
That is covered. Okay.
Little bit, fundamental.
Okay. Basically, in case of machine learning, the machines use the data, and they make different algorithms. They make various combinations. They make combinations and they give you the result. Okay, computer vision is one of the examples of machine learning, where when you must have seen in few of those shopping malls, when you go, then you are searching for something. Suppose in one of the stacks you are not finding anything. In the same minute, you find somebody coming and asking you, "Madam, what are you searching for? Please tell me, I will help you." So from where this fellow has got this information, that here it's a huge mall, thousands of people are there, and like from nowhere this fellow comes. How this fellow comes to know that this person is searching for something, and the thing is not getting, like he's not or she's not able to get that thing, because they use the computer vision. They set such type of machines in the control room where they can recognize, the machines can recognize that this fellow is doing is searching something, or if there is a theft, then also it can be recognized, because these computer visions can recognize what exactly the person is trying to do. So by the motions, by the emotions, by the facial gestures, and these are also utilized. This computer vision, which is a part of machine learning, is also utilized in the proctored exams. You must have heard about the CAT and all those exams happening online. So how the frisking is done, or how they make the students not cheat in the programs, in these type of programs. The slide is not clearly visible. Okay. Are you using your mobile phone? Just up now tell me.
Now it is better,
Is it
ma'am.
okay now?
Yes, it's better.
Now it's
Okay.
better.
Okay. So I was talking about those exams. In the proctored exams, when they use the computer vision, what happens? The computer actually checks that which is the portion where some motion is happening, some unavoidable motion. At times, what people do, they if they are using their hands to see any book or open any other device, the motion of their hands are sensed by the computer vision, and it informs that, and at times it blocks the screen for some minutes. The screen is blocked because it has identified the participant, or this student doing some mischief. So that computer vision informs and automatically blocks the screen. And this type of proctored exams have revolutionized the system of examinations, the entrance examination in the country. And it is not something which is bad. You must understand this. People who are not in very much they don't, if they don't like this proctored exam, online exam, they must be how that in the countries which are developed countries, considered to be developed countries, the proctored online exams are very much happening, and they do it in a so beautiful manner that not a single cheating or not a single mischief is happening, and it saves a lot of time and money of the student. Otherwise, if you are supposed to go to a center which is far away from your place, then just imagine, and if there is an unavoidable circumstance, like if there is a situation where traveling is difficult, then at times even the students are not able to give the exams. So the online examination becomes very, very useful in certain situations. So that's why when we amalgamate AI and such sophisticated techniques, the authenticity of the exam becomes very high. Then comes this natural language processing. This is the, if you ask me that what exactly is the most important and the best feature of AI, I will give this answer that the NLP, the natural language processing, is the best thing to happen in a long time. What exactly is this? See, computer understands only the artificial languages. What are those artificial languages? The binary code, and where a computer understands only only 1 and 0, only 2 digits, 0 and 1. And on the entire ecosystem of computers is based on these two, 0 and 1, and the binary digits. And all those artificial languages like C++, Python, Java, they all are constituted with that particular system itself. Means when you are trying to give an instruction, you to a computer, you need to know either a language which is known by the computer. So you have to understand C++, or you need to first learn C++ or Java or Python or any other computer language. Earlier there was DOS, disk operating systems. So there were HTML language was HTML was to be learned by those who were using DOS. But nowadays C++, Java, Python, but they are all the languages which people try to learn when they are going to start coding or using some computer system. But what exactly this NLP is? The NLP is the substitute of this artificial languages, the C++ or Java.